Hi everybody, this is Craig, head instructor at Ottawa Swordplay. I'm here for the online drill class for October 3rd, and of course we'll be posting this online later on. Today we're going to be working mostly on the Krumphau and the Schielhau, which we often refer to as the waker and the shielder. Of course, we're going to start with some of our foundation actions as sort of a warm-up thing. So we're going to start with our foot rotations, as I always like to do. So you should stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, weight on the balls of your feet, rotate all the way to one side, and then we're going to rotate to the other side and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And since we're doing the waker, there's going to be a lot of thumb grip stuff, so of course we're going to do the thumb grip flip. So remember, keep your arm extended and relaxed. The more we can make this a small action in the hand, the better it will be for us in the long run. And we're going to flip the sword up to make that nice T between the crossguard and our wrist, and then drop back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to switch to the other hand and do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And again, since we're working on wakers, of course we're going to do the windshield wiper, which is essentially the action of the waker. So you're going to tuck your elbow to your side, hold the sword in the thumb grip, and we're going to rotate down to the outside. And today we're not going to flip into half swording, we're just going to do the windshield wiper action. So we'll rotate up and back, 1, 2, and again we want to keep this action as much as possible limited to in the hand, and keep going that way. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we're going to switch hands and do the same thing on the other side. So we'll start on the outside. 1, 2. One of the other things about this, you want to control the sword as it's going down at the end of each arc. You don't want to just let it fall. That is better training. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we are also going to do some footwork, and we're going to be looking at similar footwork to what we did last week for our footwork part of the warm-up. We're going to be doing something like the wide springs. Now, the main difference today is that we're going to look at each of the half steps, the individual footsteps, as separate pieces. So we're going to be doing a leaf step followed by a triangle. Leaf step is not a historical term associated with our system. It's just a term I learned a long time ago and stuck with. So I'm starting the left foot forward in our usual position. I'm just holding my sword comfortably. But with my right foot, I'm going to step forward and to the side. But this is not the beginning of a gather because I am passing forward, but it's a little bit wider. And then my second step is to bring my back foot around behind me, and I end up in this sort of crossed feet position. And then from here, I'm going to do the same step out to the other side and bring that triangle back around. All right, so we're going to do that across the room. So if you need to turn around at any point to make room for yourself, go ahead. But I'm going to step with the right foot, triangle, left foot, triangle, 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 right foot, triangle, and turn around and go back the other way. Right foot, triangle, left foot, triangle, right foot, triangle, left foot, triangle, right foot, triangle, left foot, triangle, right foot, triangle, left foot, triangle. So these two steps can be combined along with a single action with the sword, but they can also be split up as we just did for two actions that we're going to be looking at. And the Krumphau or waker is one of the ones that we often split up our steps between two different actions. Now the other thing that we're going to have to use today when we're starting with the waker is our guard Schrankhood, the barrier guard. And this guard mostly I think of as a teaching guard, and the place that we see it in the manuscripts is when they're talking about how to do the Krumphau. And there is some disagreement on how this is supposed to look, but the way that we do it here is I'm going to hold my sword in the thumb grip in front of me, and then with one of my feet, in this case my right foot, I'm going to step back, and then I'm going to lower my point to my right hand side. And I'm still in the thumb grip. So my sword is parallel to my shoulders, and I'm facing forward like this. I can also do Schrankhood on the left with my right foot forward. Sword is still parallel to my shoulders. I'm facing forward here. My hands are crossed, though, when I'm in Schrankhood on the left. But we're going to start with Schrankhood from the right, and that's the position that we're going to start from today. And when we do a waker from Schrankhood, I'm going to use my right hand to drive the sword forward, but with my left hand, I'm going to push my pommel across. And situationally, we may need to push further to bring our point a little bit lower, but the limit of that should always kind of be that when my hands are extended, my crossed arms are actually, I'm going to move right up here, in contact with each other, so I can't go further, which means my point is higher than my hands. And that's sort of the most important thing. So when I do this, my point stays higher than my hands. All right, so we're going to just do that 5 times without any kind of step. So starting here, I'm going to drive my hand forward, cross my hands. 1, cross the hands, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now, of course, we're going to implement this with a step, and we are using this to displace our opponent's weapon. And there's a number of different ways to do this, but usually we're doing it against the blade and it's an empty displacement, so a parry or a block. And if we look at my Hell that I've set up in here, I've got the spear set up in the position where this person's sword might be if they're attacking me, and how I'm going to be displacing it. So I'm starting in my Schrankhood guard here, facing my opponent, and their sword is threatening me and also in my way from stabbing them. So I'm going to bring my hands forward and start moving into that crossed hands position, although I have not gone all the way yet. And then I'm going to step and complete that. And you can see I've driven their weapon out to the side. All right? And I'm going to actually stand a little bit closer than I was and do this again. So starting from Schrankhood, start to drive my hands forward and step. And I can do this with a step more online, but for right now, I'm going to do that wide leaf step. All right? So I just wanted to demonstrate with the Pel, but we're just going to do that here to the air, and we're going to do that 10 times. So extend, step, reset, extend, step, reset, extend, step, reset, extend, step, reset, extend, step. Halfway there, extend, step, extend, step, extend, step. 2 more, extend, step. Last one, extend, step. All right, now, most of our techniques finish with a hit. The waker or Krumphau in and of itself does not. So we have to add something to actually hit our opponent. Now in the manuscripts, this is described as a winding. It's a lot like shooting the point long, but I like to think of it as a second waker. So having come to here, we're gonna pull the pommel to make that same windshield wiper action. but we're going to do that with a triangle step. And what's happening here, when I'm doing my first waker, I'm facing square on to you right now, or to my opponent. And then when I do the second one, I'm turning the alignment of my shoulders with this triangle step, but my sword stays parallel to my shoulders, so it is now pointed at you. And in the manuscripts, they tell us this can finish as a stab to the face or a cut to the head, which this can definitely be. So again, I'm going to demonstrate that here. I'm facing my pal, I extend, step, triangle step, cut. All right? So that's the action that we're doing. All right, so starting from shrink hook, extend, step, triangle, cut. And I'm actually starting the cut before I triangle step. I will set my words more correctly. We'll start from 0 again. So extend, step, cut, triangle. Reset, extend, step, cut, triangle. Reset, extend, step, cut, triangle. Reset, extend, step, cut, triangle. That's 4. Extend, step, cut, triangle. Reset, extend, step, cut, triangle. Reset, extend, step, cut, triangle. 3 more. Extend, step, cut, triangle. 2 more. Extend, step, cut, triangle. And last one. Extend, step, cut, triangle. All right, so that is the basic idea of the waker. Now, working from shrink hook, this is fairly symmetrical if we do it from the other side. So we're now going to do those 2 parts starting from the other side. Now, the difference here, I'm starting right foot forward, and my hands are crossed when I'm in shrink hook to begin with. Because my hands are pulled back, my point can hang down quite a bit further. If I extend, the sword tip will naturally rise up, which is nice when that's how we're going to start our action. However, I'm going to extend and step, and here I still need to keep my point up higher than my hands, but there's no automatic break, so it's easier to overswing that one, which we don't want to do. And then I'm going to push my pommel to cross my hands and triangle step the other way. Now, my spear isn't set up on the right side of my opponent here, but still, the idea is that I'm going here to control or displace their weapon, and then here to hit. All right? So, this time I'm going to stand facing, no, I'm going to face this way. So, starting a shrink hook, we're going to extend, pulling the pommel, step, push the pommel, triangle. All right? So, pull, step, push, triangle. Reset, 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 pull, step, push, triangle. That's half. Pull, step, push, triangle. Reset, pull, step, push, triangle. 3 more. Pull, step, push, triangle. Reset, pull, step, push, triangle. Last one. Pull, step, push, triangle. All right, so that is the general idea of how the waker works. As I said, the second one is not usually described in our manuscripts as a waker, but I feel like that's a clearer expression of how it works. The biggest thing that makes it different is that we're usually staying at the bind when we do that one. All right, now, we don't normally start in shrink hook. We need to be able to do this action off of the shoulder. And as usual, we're going to do that by going through Sprechfenster. So if I'm in the tower, Krumphau, I'm going to extend my sword, and then I'm going to flip into the thumb grip. The difference between, if I'm doing a thwarter or something, I'll usually just turn the sword. But here, when I extend, I'm going to push the pommel so that my point is already starting at coming across, and I'm starting to cross my hands. All right? So it's going to be extend, push the pommel, step, pull the pommel, triangle step. All right? So, now if I go that way, I'll end up facing away from the camera. So I'll go facing you at the beginning. So extend, push, step, pull, triangle. Reset, 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 extend, push, step, pull, triangle. That's 5. Extend, push, step, pull, triangle. Reset, extend, push, step, pull, triangle. 3 more. Extend, push, step, pull, triangle. Reset, extend, push, step, pull, triangle. Last one. Extend, push, step, pull, triangle. So that's how we do the waker off the shoulder, or the Krumphau. Now, I do want to just give a brief comment on the angle that we use. If I'm facing somebody who's in flug, aber, Borgard, I will want to keep my point quite high, and I just want to cross my hands enough to displace their weapon. And then it's more efficient when I have to do my second attack. Now, I don't have a good way of representing somebody attacking me in ox, but if my opponent is an ox, I need to cross further to displace their point downward, and then my second attack can go over top of their blade. So that's generally how we make that decision. All right. So now we're going to talk about doing the shielder, or the Schielhau. The Schielhau is usually translated as the squinting strike. I believe that there's a translational error that happened early in this system, and that it was originally Schielhau, the shield strike. That's why we call it the shielder. Anyway, it is very similar. It's one of our windshield wiper type actions. The difference is that the shielder is happening beside our body, perpendicular to the line of our shoulders. So it works like the waker, except for that we're turning the point forward. So when I did the waker, I extended, crossed my hands, and stepped. When I do this, I'm extending, I start to push that pommel, and then I'm turning my short edge on, rotating and stepping so that the slice is coming here. And it looks a lot like our second waker where I'm here, except for that my body and intention are facing straight forward. And that's an important difference sometimes in terms of leverage of the fight. So with that too, I generally actually just come to our usual Spreckfencer with my point still pointed slightly to the right instead of crossed over. All right, so we're going to do 10 of those. I'll do one first. It's going to be extend, thumb grip, slice, step. All right, so extend, thumb grip, slice, step. Reset, 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 extend, thumb grip, slice, step. That's 5. Extend, thumb grip, slice, step. Reset. Extend, thumb grip, slice, step. 3 more. Extend, thumb grip, slice, step. 2 more. Extend, thumb grip, slice, step. And last one. Extend, thumb grip, slice, step. Now, I didn't actually demonstrate this one with the PEL. As a general rule, when I'm doing this, I'm using the slicing action to displace, and if you've read about our 3 wounders, you should know that the wounders are different ways of getting leverage with the blade, not just of injuring somebody. So I'm slicing to displace, and for a number of reasons, I'm going to usually aim for my opponent's right shoulder. So I'll be extending thumb grip, slice here. Then if they push me back, they're pushing my sword into their own face, but it's also just a stronger displacement. All right, so that's the shielder, close relative of the waker. But we're going to do something else with it. And the first thing we're going to do is pretty simple, which is we're going to assume they displace hard against our shielder. So we're going to go through with the pommel. But because of what I want to do next, we're going to do kind of a short going through with the pommel. The important thing though is, if I'm here and they're pushing my point aside, I want to make sure that I'm creating an archway under my sword that I can step through, and then I'm going to take a little step forward. And if you watch this from here, as this is going side, I'm rotating through and I'm stepping, and I'm only barely passing my right foot with my left. I'm not going all the way through underneath to end up with a strong left foot lead. All right? So if I'm looking at this with my pal friend here, maybe I go to do my shielder, but they're pushing too hard, so I'm doing this step, like so. All right? And this is where we would normally then snap around and cut to the other side, which also looks a lot like a waker or a shielder, but that's not what we're going to do. All right? So we're going to start with the Schielhau. We're going to do this 5 times, and I'm not going to break it down. So, well, I will the first time. It'll be extend, thumb grip, slice, step. That's Schielhau. Pommel, half step. All right? So Schielhau, pommel, half step. That's 1. Reset. Schielhau, pommel, half step. Reset. Schielhau, pommel, half step. That's 3. Schielhau, pommel, half step. Reset. Schielhau, pommel, half step. All right, so why do we do this? Well, we're closing our distance, but in fact, we're going to not go through. We're going to stay on the side that we were on. And we're going to do that with a bigger Krumphau that I call a winging Krumphau, or waker. So, if I'm here, I do my Schielhau, they are resisting and pushing, so I'm going through it here. I'm now going to push my pommel to create that cross, like that, but that's going to displace their weapon hard, and then I'm going to step through. All right? So, showing that from the side, I'm doing my Schielhau, pommel, half step, cross hard, and step. All right? And I will do the pommel half step breakdown, but this last one, it runs so closely together, if I try and express it as 2 different things, I can't say it fast enough for how we should be doing this. All right? So, Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, wing. Yeah, I like that. All right, and we'll do 4 more of these for 5. So, Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing. And Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing. Reset. Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing. Last one, Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing. All right. Now, I love this technique. I really like it a lot. It's related to the bogan that we see in Gross semester, by the way. But we need, again, to follow this up with something. And we're going to follow it up with a neck cut. And in this case, our neck cut is going to come in with our thumb underneath as we go by. So if I'm doing this with my imaginary opponent here, I'm going to be extending thumb grip Schielhau, but they displace, pommel, half step, and now I'm going to wing, and I've stepped back to my right, to their left. And then I'm just going to bring my hands up horizontally and step here, cutting off their head. And this is one where I can then keep running like I'm the Highlander fighting the Kurgan. And then his head falls off 2 minutes later. All right, so I'll show that again. So it'll be Schielhau, go through with a half step, wing, neck cut. Oh yeah. All right, so the breakdown for this is going to be Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, neck cut, step through. All right, so we'll do 5 of those. Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, neck cut, go through. Reset. Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, neck cut, go through. Reset. Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, neck cut, go through. I rushed that one. 2 more. Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, neck cut, go through. Last one, hopefully best one. Schielhau, pommel, half step, wing, neck cut, go through. And then he laughs and dies. All right. The last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to do that same sequence, but we're going to do it on the other side. And I'm actually going to move this around so I can demonstrate what I'm talking about. So I'm looking at somebody on this side. And in this case, though, we're going to go back to starting from our cross hand strength hook. And I'm going to uncross, step, cross hands, triangle, pommel, step through. I had to go around this guy a little bit. Oh no, I don't, because I'm just doing that half step. And then I'm gonna pull the pommel for that winging step and go here, neck cut, through. Now, this might be a little bit easier to see if I actually do it not with the pedal, but I just wanted to show kind of the interference here. So I'm going to do my first waker, second waker, pommel, half step, winging, and I'm stepping with my left foot there, and then I'm coming up thumb underneath with a short edge cut, neck cut, step through. All right, so right foot forward, shrink hook, waker, second waker, pommel, half step, winging, neck cut, go through. Shrink hook, right foot forward, waker, second waker, pommel, half step, winging, neck cut, go through. Right foot forward, shrink hook. 3 more of these. Waker, second waker, pommel, half step, winging, neck cut, go through. 2 more. Right foot forward, shrink hook, waker, second waker, pommel, half step, winging, neck cut, go through. The last one, right foot forward, shrink hook, waker, second waker, pommel, half step, winging, neck cut, go through. That's everything I got for today. That last sequence is something that can actually be incorporated to any place where you come into the bind, where people put in pressure on your blade one way or another, wing it out of the way, line up with their neck, step through. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you very much. Have a good week. We'll see you. Next weekend is Thanksgiving, so there'll be no class on Thanksgiving. All right. Have a good Thanksgiving.